Welcome to part 2 of our trip to Goliad State Park. After a delicious and somewhat nutritious lunch, we ventured back out into the Texas summer heat to explore the Mission Espiritu Santo de Zuniga. Located just a short walk away from the parking lot at the park headquarters, the mission has 3 main areas to explore: the church, workshop, and air-conditioned exhibit area. I suggest starting your tour at the exhibits. Inside, you'll find a model of the mission as it would have appeared in the late 1700s. A mural provides an overview of the Spanish attempts to convert the Karankawa, Aranama, and Tamik tribes to the Roman Catholic faith. The priests were unable to civilize and Christianize the aggressive Karankawa tribes, but had more success converting the Aranama peoples. Food, shelter, and protection were all provided in exchange for following church discipline and instruction. As many as 300 people lived and worked at the mission during the 1700s. Ranching and livestock trade supported the mission, and the native peoples became accomplished vaqueros by adapting Spanish riding and roping styles to their own. The last Spanish priests withdrew from Mexican Texas in 1830, officially closing the mission. Many artifacts are on display in the exhibit area, and a little comb caught my eye. Made of sharp animal teeth, it wasn't used for grooming, but instead the native people would use it to scar their bodies during peyote rituals. And what I thought looked like a pile of petrified poo turned out to be a carving of a serpent and a lily, and symbolized the conflict between good and evil. I think this could be a really cool tattoo, if I got tattoos. In the far back corner of the exhibit area is a small room where the last limestone walls from the original mission, built in 1758, still stand. This area may have served as a vault for documents or sacred ceremonial items. After the mission shut down, residents of Goliad took stones from the site to build structures in town. The Texas State Park System acquired the dilapidated mission in 1931. Under the Works Progress Administration, the Civilian Conservation Corps, or CCC, worked from 1935 to 1941 to reconstruct the church and other structures. Workers mixed plaster and fired bricks for the church floor in a kiln located just off the mission grounds. Reconstructed areas of the mission are generally plastered white, and the gray limestone walls are what remain of the original construction. In the restored granary, exhibits were added in the 1970s and give a glimpse into the life of women at the mission. They spun and wove wool, made clay pots, harvested crops, ground corn, and cooked. This office belonged to the mayordomo, an Indian convert selected by the missionaries to oversee the workshop. Outside, we found evidence that the mission hadn't been completely abandoned. Something sure seemed to like the taste of those tree berries. And a snake thought the Texas summer would be a lot cooler with some looser skin. At the northwest corner of the mission is the Aranama Trail entrance. The nature trail is a quarter-mile loop. Along the way, you will find a rock quarry and kiln used by the CCC workers, the San Antonio River, various vegetation, and lots of lizards. I'm sure the trail is very nice and relaxing in cooler weather, but we didn't spend too much time reading the signs, except for one. The smiling face on this sign confirmed my suspicion about what ate the tree berries. One very happy coyote. After our walk, we left Goliad State Park for a place nearby and closely tied to the objectives of the mission, but isn't shown on the map. Presidio La Bahia. Meaning fort on the bay, Presidio La Bahia was built in 1747 by the Spanish as a frontier fort, and according to the official website, was the most fought-after fort in Texas history. 9 flags have flown over the Presidio: Spanish, French, First Republic of Texas, Mexican, Second Republic of Texas, First Independence, Republic of Texas, Confederate States, and the United States flag. Although surrounded on all sides by very tall stone walls, fortification of the Presidio required cannons, cannonballs, and blowing up cannons before yielding the fort to a new flag. Located within the walls of the reconstructed Presidio is the original Our Lady of Loreto chapel. Built for the Spanish soldiers and settlers, the chapel has been in continuous use since the 1700s. Inside the chapel is where Fannon's men were held captive before the Goliad massacre and where the first Declaration of Texas Independence was signed. According to the website, it is one of the only buildings in existence that has its original groin-vaulted ceiling in place. The striking fresco behind the altar was done in 1946 by the Michelangelo of South Texas, Antonio Garcia. Located in the niche above the chapel entrance is the statue of Our Lady of Loreto, sculpted by Lincoln Borglum of Mount Rushmore fame. The 300 years of history of the mission of the Presidio was a bit overwhelming for a single day, but we weren't done exploring and took a tour around the historic square. Not much was open on a Saturday during a pandemic. The Goliad Courthouse was completed in 1894 and is made of brick and limestone hauled from Austin using an ox cart. For some reason, the giant clock tower and various cupolas made my hair stand on end and chills run down my spine. I thought I'd seen way too many horror movies with creepy houses, but the plaque on the rock confirmed my uneasiness. The hanging tree. From 1846 to 1870, capital sentences were conducted very conveniently in front of the courthouse without delay or appeal. Plus, a hanging of possibly 70 men occurred in 1857 during an ethnic and racial cart war between Mexican drivers and Texas freighters. All I know is that I felt some bad juju around that courthouse. Before the sun slipped below the horizon, we headed back to Goliad State Park for one last bike ride. An armadillo out for an evening stroll headed off into the sunflowers, and that seems like a pretty good idea. Because there's no firewood collection allowed in the park, and we didn't bring our own, we decided to make the best of what we had. I sure hope you enjoyed traveling with us through Goliad. If you ever get a chance to visit, I totally recommend the Donut Palace. Cheers!